Good evening, it's Matthew again, and I'm just basically going to go to the weather charts and look at the SOHO charts in a few minutes. But you can see here on this footage, this is what's happening around the world now. We are being eclipsed by Nibiru and Nemesis and Helion and the moons. This is the effect we're getting around the world, this dark shadow, and the sun is being eclipsed right now. Now the thing is though, this is a very serious situation we're under right now, and government are hiding it from us. And I've been explaining this on the other videos and images to say that we're being darkened all over our skies around the world. I'm going to go to some cams now and also the SOHO charts of respect from Matthew Rogers. This is a chart dated at 2045 GMT on the January the 24th, 2017. You can see the top chart. The top one is very erratic. These are very erratic now, a lot more erratic than the last charts I showed you before. It's getting serious now. The thing is though, basically, we are having some serious problems with our sun right now. It's getting red hot. I mean, it's twice as hot now because the binary twin. It's right close to it. And all these reflections and refractions are coming down to our atmosphere. There is something strange going on with our sun because it's white hot right now. And that simulator is being burnt away. I can see there is something really serious going on up there. They are chemtrailing up there 24 hours a day now, spraying our skies. Those chemtrails up there look blue. It just looks strange. It really does. And very, very crazy times coming ahead of us now. We are ready for a situation. Also, the jet stream. It's very important that to explain about the jet stream because it's getting highly erratic. It really is. I think we're going to end up with a huge pole shift. Because I see the skies and also the celestial body, the moon. Things just don't add up anymore. They really don't. The moon looks too close and then it looks too far away. What's going on? Very, very strange. Here is an update image of the corona hole and also the amount of solar flares, the solar activity. Earth is pointing right in front of this situation where you've got these CMEs, these large celestial flares heading our way every single day. Up to 30, 40 flares. And this corona hole is only a part of the system where Nemesis, the binary twin, is so close to our natural sun. It is burning and causing this problem. This wasn't happening before, but now it is happening. The military know it, the government know it. NASA, never a straight answer. They are lying to us every single day. The powers to be are hiding the truth. They're blanketing our skies so we can't see what's going on with them chemtrails. Absolutely absurd. And we, the public, need answers to this. Never mind the negativity, people. Never mind the shills and the harassing people in life. We need to push them to one side and get the truth out now because it's so important. Because I'm looking at the skies every single day now and I'm noticing big, huge changes. Reflections coming up from south and west and east. Light refractions. Other suns? There's something going on. There's other celestial bodies that are lighting our skies at 2 AM in the morning. And that's west. What is going on? Crazy times ahead. We really need to prepare for this and we need to look at the other charts. This is a NOAA aura forecast chart. And you can see on the chart that aurora. Now the auroras are attacking the poles. Every single day. They're attacking the poles and the poles are melting. The ice caps are melting. One huge part of the poles cracked away and floating down south. Now the thing is though, we are put in the dark about this. We get one little snippet on the news media about it and then it's all hushed up. It's a serious, serious situation. These solar flares are attacking our Earth and the binary twin is agitating our jet stream. Agitating the flow of everything. It's agitating us. Weakening everything. We are tilting and basically being knocked forward and backwards every single day. But because the Earth is a huge, huge celestial body. 25,000 miles around us. And it's just basically, we don't get to feel the situation. We are wobbling. Scientists are getting so worried about this now. Behind our backs as we're talking and just carrying on with our lives, They're digging their underground cities and making more places for themselves to hide. Special speedway trains down there and pumping so much money to get, thinking they're going to be safe down there in them cities. I don't think so, because the thing is, the binary twin now is getting very, very close, heading our way. Some strange times ahead. These charts prove it. There is some serious problems ahead with the weather charts. This is a live image from the Soho cam, and it's a 500 A1A cam, and also the timestamp there as well, 25th, and that's at 2:04 GMT. Now the thing is, look at that. You can see the corona hole, and also look at the other holes. Now this is our sun. Okay. Now back in 2011, 2008, our sun looked just a plain yellow disk. Now look at it. It's absolutely agitated. The proof is there. They come up with different stories about this, just to keep the panic down, keep the mass, keep the public down, and not to worry about everything. The thing is, we all need answers, because look at it. Our celestial body, our sun, is just damaged. It's like it's been smacked with a baseball bat about 25 times. Look at it. The coronal hole is falling apart. I mean, the thing is, our natural sun is being beaten by the binary twin. The brown dwarf star is here now. Wormwood is here. It's sneaking its way through towards us now. These celestial bodies have done this to our sun before. It's in the history books. Uranus was knocked apart, bashed about by the celestial bodies in the past. NASA admitted to it, that our celestial bodies have been knocked about before by the heavenly bodies. Come on, we need to wake up to this, because it's so important. Subscribers that are watching the channel, they all know this. They all know this is happening. It's a situation where we need to look up now and look at the sun. I mean, the thing is, I know you need to wear protective gear to look at the sun. But let me tell you something, it's a wrong colour now. That yellow haze is not our sun. This image shows you that our natural sun is being affected. It's only sooner or later we're going to get a huge pole shift, a huge event. This is another chart that's up there. Basically, you will see that image, and it's coming from NOAA and also NASA. And basically, it's you can see where the hot spot is, and it's just another situation where they're marking and also diagramming the solar flare activity. And I'm going to go to another cam, because every time I go back to these cams, it's just showing me that there's more damage being done out there in our inner solar system. There's more trash that's being thrown about. There's asteroids and meteorites. I mean, I've videoed meteorite and asteroids early hours of the morning, and I've seen these huge rocks, and they're frightening, absolutely frightening. They're massive. They're massive celestial bodies that are going past our atmosphere, way up in the skies, while we're all tucked up in bed and not noticing anything that's going on. It only takes one of them, and I mean one of them, to go through the keyhole. That's it. That is it. We are finished. Now, the thing is, basically, I mean, they do put things, science facts and science fiction in films. They put messages in films. They always do. Just to basically show you, they don't want to upset anybody, they just want to bang it in their faces to people. And it's just terrible. The thing is, they should naturally be open to everybody, because the time is now. It's so close now. Here we are, another chart. On the 25th of January 2017, the network reported 12 fireballs. 12 of them. 12 huge celestial fireballs. Now the thing is, look at the green and also the blue lines in the sky, and the ones that are red are the danger ones, and even the orange are closer to our celestial body, our natural Mother Earth. These fireballs are very, very close, look. And I said earlier on as well, now I've been videoing now and taking images of these celestial bodies up there. Okay, now this proves it, because the thing is, we've got these large objects, and people need to wake up to this. They really do. It's going to be a matter of time. It really is. It's so short now until one of these lands. Well, there's so much trash up there. I just want to wake people up. I need people to listen to me. It's so important because I get so annoyed with it that people are not listening. Now the subscribers and the viewers are listening. The thing is though, I want other people to listen, and it's so important to wake other people up that we've got these huge objects up there. We really have. The frightener is the red haze. There's no point basically being sat on the fence with this now, because it's all here now. The temperature here in the UK has dropped to minuses so fast, rapidly in the night time and in the morning. It's all because the brown dwarf star is here, and it's causing erratic behaviour with our weather patterns, and also, as I said before, the jet stream is absolutely up the wall, and also the sea levels are rising again. I went to Hull again this morning, early hours, and I noticed the sea levels have reached another 3 or 4 inches. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And Mr. Ian Gordon, a good friend of mine from the UK, is basically sending me loads of emails. Now, the thing is, though, I've got a ton of emails that I'm going through right now as well because of the situation with the emails. Now, the thing is, though, he's reporting that the skies are very strange, and he's done some tests, and they're pumping our skies full of all this chemical stuff, and it's harming everybody. It's harming everybody because the thing is, though, basically, it's absolutely horrendous now. It really is. It really is horrendous now. They're pumping our skies a lot more than usual now to hide these celestial bodies. I'm going to go to another cam now. Here is another chart that we can't ignore. We can't ignore these charts. It's so important that we keep an eye on them. This is a recent upcoming Earth asteroid encounters. Now, the thing is, though, the size of these objects, okay? Now, it's just like the earthquakes. Please believe this now, right? The earthquakes, they always downgrade the magnitude by 1. They really do. I've read some books about it in the past, and they do this to stop mass panic. They downgrade the magnitude. Now, with these asteroids as well, I believe they downgrade the meters, the kilometers, and the size of these things. Now, these objects, these celestial bodies that have come very close to our Earth, they won't say anything, like they did with the Russian asteroid. They won't say anything to the end. They won't tell you that it's coming. They know it's coming. They've got so many advanced computer technology now that they can see them coming all the day. They've got people that are working 24/7, staring at the skies and scanning the skies with these special telescopes and radars. And if one does come close, they won't report it. They will not report it. They only report it now and again, but they don't report it close. One of these land right near us. That's it. We're finished. We are so finished. These charts are so important. It's like gold dust to me, because the thing is, they're showing the truth of what's going on up there in the skies. But media want us to keep our eyes down and look around the world and taxing people and plastic stuck on the beach and news reports about other parts of the world that are in trouble. And I mean, I respect that, you know, but the thing is, though, they're not giving up proper information about what's going on above our heads. They're so dangerous. If a huge asteroid or meteor came close to us, they won't report it. They really won't report it. They will keep us in the dark. There's so many of them. I mean, look, so many of these encounters. I mean, there's more to come. There's more to come as well. It's just absolutely crazy how they don't say anything. News media have been put on gagging orders not to say a word. And all these asteroids are all part of the system that's coming, that's been knocked about. As you saw in the other Soho cam, you can see the trash being thrown around. Now, these objects are going at billions of miles an hour. I mean, parts of the world have got these charts that are full, and basically they're being battered by the auroras 24/7, like the North and South Pole. We have one here for the UK. Now, before long time ago we wouldn't get anything so high like this with these charts. So it's just basically keeping an eye on these charts because they're going up. The charts are going up because we're getting some serious affected solar activity heading towards the UK as well as many other parts of the world it's happening to as well. It's because that Nemesis, the brown dwarf, is basically causing all these problems to earthquakes, to the Earth, affecting our Earth's core because of the magnetic pull, and basically the Earth's core is basically, I mean, the heat that's coming from the core is absolutely horrendous right now. I'm going to go to another chart. This is another aurora chart in Europe, and basically you can see that huge aurora that's basically recorded at the time of the day. I'll just put the stamp on as well so you can see the timestamp with that, with the date. Hold on. There it is. You can see the timestamp, and January the 25th, 2017. And that's 6 p.m. GMT. Okay. Now the thing is, it's got written down it's a maximum. Now the thing is, these auroras and these parts of the Earth are getting too big. They are massive. They're huge, huge solar events, and also the auroras that are caused by the sun. It's just basically battering our Earth's atmosphere. It just proves that we've got these crazy times ahead of us. And as I said before in another video as well, that I mean the sun, this coming summer, it's just going to be unbearable to see the sun. It really is. It's going to be very, very unbearable to see the sun. I'm going to get a lens and I'm going to basically, if it's too white hot, I want to know what's going on up there. Anyway, so basically, I'm just not happy at all about all this because every time I'm looking at the charts, every time for you guys, I'm just noticing that they're getting bigger, these auroras, and they're getting bigger all the time. And I believe that the NOAA office must be working 24/7 watching their system now, watching all this happening. And there's not a thing they can do. There is nothing they can do. They really can't, because the sun is so huge. It's a big celestial body, and it's actually bits coming off it. There really is bits coming off it. And people have been shut down because they've been trying to tell the truth about Nibiru and the system. People have been murdered, assassinated. It's blowing out the sky on planes. I mean, come on. This is 100%. This is evident that something is going on. Our Mother Earth is in a big, huge, massive amount of trouble right now. And we're all in trouble because it's just basically not fair that the government are not opening up to this. And NASA, we haven't heard from them for a long time now because they are so... I mean, the thing is, though, the International Space Station, I said before, I don't believe it's manned anymore because the amount of trash that's been thrown around up there, space debris, there's too much of it up there now. They are flying around at altitude. I mean, they're flying around these bits of space debris at thousands to millions of miles an hour. Okay, now the International Space Station is just made up of material and metals and things and what have you. It only takes one of them to smash into the... that's it, they're gone. It's finished. The space station's going to be gone. I mean, what's going on? It's evident, isn't it, that you saw that Soho cam. It's spitting out all sorts of objects and basically metals and rocks and asteroids and comets. I mean, the thing is, it's all craziness up there now with the sun. I hope this cam's going to work for you guys. Did you see that go past on that live cam? Now this is an Aurora live cam. I just saw that object go past. Now I'm going to try and look at that again. I'm going to go and I'm going to rewind the footage and see if I can get that back again. Okay, let's see if we can go, see if that shoots past the screen again. Maybe it goes past the screen so you can see that again on that Aurora cam, that live cam. It's moving now. Here we go. See if that, did you see that, guys? That was an event there. You saw that go past. I'm going to pause that and look into that later on this evening. But that was definitely an object that just whizzed past. It could be an asteroid. It could be anything else, but I believe it could be an asteroid. But the thing is, though, these objects are huge, aren't they? And they're up in the night sky now. just going out and looking at the sky as well is very strange. We see a lot of objects up there. It really is different now up in the skies. I'm seeing these yellow orbs that are moving through the night sky as well. They're not planes, they're not aircraft, they're not military. They are golden orbs. I don't know what they are. If they're UFOs, they're UFOs. But they're strange and they move across the sky very quietly, very smoothly. Also, it's, craziness. You can see an aurora coming through now on this live cam. Look at it. You can see this, can't you? Absolutely outstanding. Now, these auroras are basically coming from our sun every single day. So I'll be checking this live cam every evening to see if these auroras are getting bigger. But they do look beautiful, don't they? They look fantastic, don't they? The thing is, though, this is what's heading to our atmosphere. This is why our atmosphere is protecting us from these solar flares. The only thing is, though, there's evidence that the Earth's magnetic field now is weakening, and that's been told and documented in other books as well, and other web pages. I'm going to go to another cam now. This is a world's sunlight map. Okay, shows you the light and the darkness, and basically we're seeing more dark than light now. The thing is, it's so evident on the webcams as well that the darkness is a lot dimmer than the lightness. To the right of the sun, we're getting this dark haze, this dark patch. And it's all because we're being eclipsed. These heavenly bodies are heading in front of our sun and heading past us. And that's when the shift will occur. That's when the pole shifts will happen. And the erratic weather is starting to show. And all the proof is coming out now, isn't it? Of sunlight and darkness chart. Satellite imagery will keep an eye on this as well. It's very important as well to see what's going on with all the charts, really. Here's another chart that proves that we've got more corona holes. Look at this at the top. These are showing you about the corona hole, the size of this thing. And also there's a huge corona hole here and one down here. Now they're getting bigger. They're absolutely getting bigger. These flares and all sorts. They're all heading our way. The sun is being affected every single day now, and it shows every detail. Wouldn't it be good, though, if the weatherman or the weather charts on TV and were telling us all this? This is so important news, and people like yourselves and myself, we want to know the truth, don't we? We really do, because our sun is breaking up there every single day. And they are chemtrailing and spraying our skies so we don't see the damage. We don't see that the sun is changing its colour. It's getting darker, and in the daytime it's this crazy looking grey white colour. And it's so low. The reason why the sun's so low is because the earth is being tilted back and forth. It's us. We're being moved about. We're being pushed. Because of the magnetic pull of the sun now, it's getting weaker and things are getting erratic out there. We can't tell, you see, because as I said before, the Earth is huge. We're only small beings on this planet. We can't feel the wobble, we can't feel it. The Earth is spinning at a very high altitude. The thing is, though, it's spinning very fast. We can't feel it because where we are on this planet, wherever we are on this planet, it's massive. The Earth will get battered and knocked about. She could take a punch. She can take a punch or two any day. The thing is, though, when these huge bodies, Nibiru, Helion, Nemesis, the moons, when they get too close, that's it. That is it. We're heading for a big slide, and that is it. A huge change is coming. And I really hope that you've all prepared. I really do. Because you're all fantastic people out there and some genuine people. I've had some brilliant messages off you guys. I really have. And you're all great. And I really hope that you are prepping and preparing, because the government have. They've been prepping for years. Donkey's years. They've been going at it with them, building them tunnels and them to their Walmarts. And it's getting to a point now. These FEMA camps, they're ready. The military are ready for this now. They've been trained for years for this. Right under our noses. They really have. There was videos brought out a couple of years ago with military officers that were basically opening up to it, but the YouTube and the powers to be shut the videos down and shut people down, and they don't want people to hear about this. So many people have been cut off and hacked and just basically been shut down. It's so important now that we realize that our celestial body, the sun, and also our Mother Earth and other planets as well, are being hammered by these huge asteroids. Now the thing is, we see the streaks in the sky. We see the burning through the atmosphere. They disappear. The thing is, these objects, they are only going to get bigger. They really are. Now I videoed the sun in the summertime, and you can see in the video there's bits coming off it. You can see these objects moving around up there near the sun. You can see them moving around. There is other objects up there that seem to be moving as if they're being powered by something. There's other beings up there that know this is happening. People, I think the thing is, at the end of the day, guys, to be honest with you, we've been warned for many, many years with these crop circles, other warnings as well in the skies, these halos in the skies. They've been warning us for years, and we still get the wool pulled over the government, and they pull the wool over our eyes every single time. They really do. Sending out new mobile phones and sending out top Game Boys and things, and brand new tellies and that. Just go and watch your tellies, go and watch your iPhones. Everything's okay. It isn't okay now. It really is important now that we get the word out there, because I just want to save lives. I really do. It's got to be said now. It really has. These eruptions from the sun are very, very big and very vast now. The sun is erupting. Now Earth is heading through the path of spring, and then it's coming up towards the summer period. That's it. We're in trouble. We are in deep trouble, because I'm sure the power grid will go down. This summer we're going to have a huge power grid shutdown. It really is important that we respect each other and stand up for each other with this one. This is a light curve chart, and also the activity of how these solar flares are getting bigger. So basically what it is, these like the Soho cam and things like that pointing towards the sun. This is a chart to show you how big the curve is, the curvature of the light from the CME. Now they are checking this every single day, and we're getting huge amounts of this light source that are coming from the sun. The holes are getting bigger, and they are worried about this. I am, to a fact, hand on heart, they must be worried about this, because I'm worried about this. I saw that sun today going down behind those chems, and it just didn't look the same as it did before. It was very, very strange. And still people down on the ground, they don't look, they don't care, they don't notice the different textures of the colouring of the land and the reflections of this strange tint, this strange yellowness, this eeriness on the ground and the buildings, the change of the colours. See, I'm so in tune with the colours, because the thing is, I know my colours and things, and that is just outrageous how people are not noticing that the colour of the sun is dimming and darkening, but in the daytime this object in front of the sun is causing it to become this grey, white hot colour. What is going on? There is some strange things going on with our sun, and these charts as well, they show that there's some erratic problems with our celestial body, the sun, and our Earth is. We're in difficult times, I'm afraid. Here is other images of the sun where they use filters and things to catch the imagery of the solar flares as well. You can see in the middle image as well, the clearer one of the coronal hole, and look at the dark patches where the sun's been smashed to pieces, basically being pulled and dragged, and it's tilting. The sun is tilting. As I said before, it just looks like someone's smacked it with a bat. I mean, It's just battered now. It's all happening right now, right in front of our eyes as the sun comes up. It's so evident because it's proven with the darkness of the sun and the shadows. Something is seriously going on, and that's because the binary twin's with it now. Now, these three charts you can see in front of you is basically where you've got the solar flare activity pointing right at Mother Earth now. And these flares are attacking us right now, so they are chemtrailing to try and stop anything harmful entering through the chems, which is not working. I mean, come on, they're fighting a losing battle. They really are, because look at the size of the sun towards our Earth. And when these rays enter the Earth's core, when they go through, because they damage through, they go through. And then that's when we start getting all these huge earthquakes that are occurring around the world right now. It's so important to get the message across, but they don't want to tell anybody, do they? They don't want people to know. The general public, they just want them to suffer when these earthquakes happen. They've got the technology to know when the rays are entering our core, to know and pinpoint where the earthquake's going to happen. So why don't they warn people? They won't, because they still want their banking system to carry on. It's so selfish. It really is. I'm going to go to another cam. This is the last image. Until tomorrow, I will be back on to do this and look at the charts again for you. And also look and see if I can try and catch wormwood on the horizon and through them chemtrails, because I am so sure now it's here. I am so sure now the reflections are going to get stronger. I've gone on the cams today and I've gone on the other cams, but sometimes it's difficult to try and get in through times and stuff to do a video because of what's going on at home and stuff, and so frustrating because I want to try and get the even in the morning events of the cams, and that's what I want to do. I want to try and get round to doing them. It's so important. But you can see here as well, it's very important. I mean, these are charts, and the bottom two say it all. Our sun is now a wrecking ball. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's just been smashed. Something is attacking our sun, and we know what it is. The binary twin is causing all these huge problems out there, and government have to release this now. The government have to be open with this. They really have. If Donald Trump was able to be open with the public, I have every faith in the man, and I hope he says something. I really do. And I hope if he watches this video, it's so important that he opens up to the world and says what's going on, because look at the sun on these charts. Our sun is falling apart. I mean, you can see it, can't you? It's so frustrating because these holes have been getting bigger. Every month they've been getting bigger and bigger. I mean, it's falling apart. It really is. It's time now. He needs to come out with the truth. He really does need to come out with the situation now. Because the public, they need to know. They've the right to know. We've been paying our taxes for years. We've been working hard. It's so frustrating for us. Because we know that something's going on, but they don't tell us about the chemtrails, the truth, and they don't tell us about what's going on. They slam it shut tight. And I believe that the CIA and other government officials and the shadow government, the powers to be, they don't want it out. And they're a bit worried about Donald Trump. Because basically they know he's a cannonball to say something. And I really do hope he does say something. Anyway, respect to everybody. And I will do another video tomorrow to see if I can get that morning, sunrise and evening cams as well. The evening down in high definition. And I'll go back to these charts and I will keep an eye on them, because the NOAA charts tell the truth. The flare forecast. It's so important that we get the truth out there. And respect to many people and many people that have sent messages in as well. I will get to you and I will send you messages this evening. And take care. And I'll be back shortly from Matt Rogers.
Truth Unveiled here, and today we're going to be talking about some prophetic signs that are coming up, not just in America, but for the rest of the world. And we're going to be focusing specifically on the Great American Eclipse that's coming up in a few months, and also the 9/23/2017 sign. Now before we begin, let me preface this video and say, am I saying that the rapture is going to be happening? There's going to be some great big event that happens? Martial law is going to be declared on 9/23/2017 or any time before then? No, I am not saying any of that. We do not know the day or hour when it comes to judgment, but we know we need to be ready at all times. But rather, I'm going to show you how deep this really goes and how prophetic this sign really is. And then come to your own conclusion. This is not about, oh, it's the end of the world and placing dates on when the end of the world is. No, this is not what this is about, but rather to get more educated on exactly what's going on and how deep it really goes. So now that we got that out of the way, this is an actual map that comes from greatamericaneclipse.com/nation, and it lets you know the actual eclipse that'll occur on 8/21/2017. Now, as you can see right here, it'll start off in about the Salem, Oregon area for about 2 minutes at 10:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and continue all the way onward past Idaho and then past Wyoming. And by the time it reaches 11:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, it'll be passing over Wyoming towards Nebraska and then also passing over Kansas, the Kansas City, Missouri area for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. The path will then continue on past Missouri into Illinois and then also towards Kentucky, passing through Tennessee and then going a little bit into the Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina area. And then by about 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it'll leave South Carolina and then keep going. Now here's another enlarged map showing you the path of the eclipse. Like we said, you can see some cities here. Like we said, it passes over Salem and begins at Lincoln City, Oregon, and it continues on through Idaho. But what I found interesting about this is that if you keep going on the map, it passes through Casper, Wyoming, then it goes towards Lincoln, Nebraska, and then it also passes through Kansas City. But when you get towards the Illinois area, the point of the longest eclipse right here at 2 minutes and 41 seconds is right here, right under Carbondale, Illinois, right near Cairo, right above Memphis. And we're going to talk more about that and why that's so important. And of course, it continues on through Nashville. And also, if you keep going over here, it continues through Columbia, South Carolina, and then Charleston. And when you look at it all together, it looks like it's making a big slash through America, right through the middle of America. And it's no surprise or coincidence whatsoever, because in 2024, there's supposed to be another eclipse that goes the other way, and we'll be talking more about that later on. Now, before we go more into detail when it comes to the 2024 solar eclipse that's going to pass over America, I just wanted to turn your attention to this too, which is the retrograde motion of Jupiter that occurs exactly 9 months before the 8/21/17 sign. Now we know that this represents the King star right here, and of course this constellation represents the Virgin constellation. We also know that this does happen frequently, that this star does have a retrograde motion, but there's something very interesting and suspicious indeed about this particular one, which starts about at 11/19 in 2016, so about the middle of November, and we're here in Carbondale, USA. Now if you keep going, you start to see right here, and I'm just going to go really fast right now, you can see that the star is moving in the womb and pretty much stays in the womb there for about a few weeks. Now, normally the King star only has a retrograde motion of about a few months when it comes to being in the Virgin constellation. But as you keep going, as you see, we're now entering the first month of 2017. You see that it's still right here in the womb. And if you keep going, it pretty much stays there. Like I said, we're going to keep it moving all the way. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And it pretty much stays there. Now, it travels a little bit south right here. But once you get to the second month, it's still right there. But look what happens after a month, after the 6th month. Here we are at 7/25/2017. Now you can see the star is pretty much in the exact same place. It hasn't really moved. But when you keep going though, and when you get to the 8th month, it starts to move down south a little bit more and starts starts to travel down the womb physically, and this is when the lunar eclipse occurs 2 weeks before the Great American Eclipse. And like I said, we're going to keep going. And now we've actually arrived to when the Great American Eclipse takes place. And then for Carbondale specifically in Illinois, USA, if you go to about 1:19 p.m. or 13:19 on the actual software, if you go about another minute or two, that this is when the actual total solar eclipse takes place indeed. And it stays there for pretty much about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and then afterwards, of course, the moon then leaves the sun, and then it's light again. So then, after that, within a 9-month period, Jupiter's retrograde has traveled from here inside of the womb, down the womb, but if you keep going just 33 days later to the 9/23/2017 sign, as you can see, Jupiter is still moving even more down and traveling down the womb, and as we keep going more towards 9/23, everything is about to start aligning, and then once we get to 9/23, you see that the woman is clothed with the sun, and the moon is under her feet. Now you also see too that the star right here, the J star that represents the Messiah, and the Virgin constellation that represents the Virgin that's spoken of, you see that the star is all the way from here to down here. And you also see how all of these stars align quite perfectly, even the moon under her feet, and also Leo, the lion, which represents the lion of the tribe of Yehuda or Judah, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stars, plus these 3 stars right here for a total of 12 stars. But really, I just wanted to show you the retrograde motion right here and how it's very interesting and suspicious indeed in tying that in to the eclipse. But it's also no surprise because 33 days after that, we see this sign aligning in the sky. Now there's also something else interesting about this too, because just as the eclipse is about to end here at Charleston, South Carolina, we know 33 days later is the 9/23/2017 sign that's going to appear in the sky. Oh, but that's not the only thing, because this location right here just so happens to be on the 33rd parallel north, which is 33 degrees north of the Earth's equatorial plane. And note how Wikipedia subliminally tells you truth, but you could see the 33rd parallel right here at about the Arkansas-Louisiana border. And if you take a look at that more clearly, here's the line right here of the 33rd parallel north. So if you keep going and keep going and keep going, you get about right here towards southeastern South Carolina. And if we go back to the map, that's exactly where Charleston is, where this eclipse is going to end. Is that a surprise? And prophetically speaking, we know that the retrograde motion of the king star Jupiter represents the birthing of the Messiah. It represents the birth of a nation, just like the movie Birth of a Nation. Hello, what are they really trying to tell us? And it's no surprise or coincidence either, because the period at when it starts to the period of the Great American Eclipse just so happens to be about 39 weeks and 2 days, and then the 9/23 sign occurring just a few weeks after that. Now, a normal pregnancy takes anywhere from between 37 to 42 weeks, and we see that this is 39 weeks. But then in the spring of 2024, there's going to be yet another total solar eclipse. At least there's scheduled to be another one in North America. And this one's going to start all the way in Mexico and travel all the way up northeast through the United States, and then all the way up into some parts of Canada like Toronto and Montreal. And it's going to keep going from there. Now, rarely does that ever happen, that there's 2 back-to-back solar eclipses in the same location that just so happen to be total eclipses within a 7-year period, especially covering the entire country of America. What does this really mean? But when you put both of them together, it actually marks a giant X across the United States. And here's a map right here. I'll enlarge it. But this is the 2017 eclipse, and this is the one that's supposed to take place or scheduled in 2024. Of course, we do not know the day or hour, but as you can see, the point of this is that it makes a giant X across the United States. And mind you, this hasn't happened since 1918, so over 99 years since there's been a total solar eclipse over the entire continental USA. And we know that Yahusha warns us to watch out for the signs of the sun, moon, and the stars. Now here's that same map enlarged. As you can see, this is the pathway of the 2017 eclipse, and this is the one of the 2024 one. And you can see it makes a giant X throughout the entire country. But what's interesting is at the very center of it, you find something even more suspicious indeed. And the center point is towards southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, and also western Kentucky right here. And it just so happens to merge at about Carbondale, Illinois, around the Mississippi River, and also very close to Cairo, Illinois, too. Now here's another enlarged map of southern Illinois specifically, and this one is showing the 2017 eclipse that's going to occur in a few months. As you can see, the areas closest to the blue line is where it's going to be total solar eclipse, and it's going to be total darkness for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So very close to Carbondale, but also within these areas there will be total eclipse. But you also see Cairo, Illinois on this map too. Where else have I seen Cairo? Like Cairo, Egypt? Oh yeah, and it just so happens to be near Memphis, Tennessee, along the Mississippi. And by the way, if you look up Carbondale, Illinois just so happens to be known as Little Egypt. What is this really trying to say? Now, I've done a note back in 2015 exposing and showing how America is literally Egypt, not just spiritually, but also literally. And what I've gone and shown is I've done an analysis showing how they both have similarities, and how the Nile River, which is a river that goes all percent is to the west. Well, when you look at America, the Mississippi River pretty much almost goes through the entire country, and about 30% of America is to the east and 70% is to the west. If you keep going, you start to see other things too, like how the city of Memphis, Egypt just so happens to lie on a river along with Cairo. Where else have we seen that? Because both Cairo, Illinois and Memphis, Tennessee both just so happen to lie on the Mississippi River, the Memphis of America. And did I mention there's also a pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee, just as there is in Memphis, Egypt? You can see the statue right here with the pyramid behind it right in front of the Mississippi. And then I've done more comparisons too when it comes to the Sphinx and the pyramid right here in Egypt, as you can see together. Well, it's the same thing even in Las Vegas, Nevada in America with an obelisk right next to it. Now, why is it so important to know the similarities between America and Egypt, both spiritually and literally? Because when you know who the real historic people of the scriptures are, notice how I said historic, then you start to understand true prophecy. And when you understand where they are and how they got there, then you understand exactly what Scripture is talking about, and you begin to see America in Scripture and in prophecy, and you also begin to see exactly those who are calling themselves Jews in prophecy too, because last I checked, they're of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but they do lie indeed, and they've been lying, and I've done plenty of videos on this, but you're going to see exactly how deep this rabbit hole goes. And now we're going to be covering a prophecy that no one is talking about when it comes to this sign specifically in this eclipse, and we'll also be talking more about why it's so important to know indeed and how it relates to the end time. Brashath, Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 through 14. And he, Yahuwah, said to Abram, know for certain that your seed are to be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But the nation whom they serve I am going to judge, and afterward let them come out with great possessions. Acts chapter 7, verses 6 through 7. And Aluah spoke in this way, that his seed would be sojourning in a foreign land, and that they would be enslaved and mistreated 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be enslaved I shall judge, said Aluah, and after that they shall come out and serve me in this place. 2 Esdras chapter 15 verses 10 through 12. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Aluah shall bring upon it. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verses 48 through 50 and verse 68. You shall serve your enemies whom Yahuwah sends against you, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all, and he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Yahuwah brings a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue you shall not understand, a fierce-looking nation, which shows no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young. Verse 68. And Yahuwah shall bring you back to Egypt in ships, by a way of which I said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy. Now that we've just identified where America fits in scripture and in prophecy, now we're going to see exactly how it all fits historically speaking. Because yes, the scriptures is a history book. It is not a religious text about Christian people or Jewish people. And just as we've identified historically speaking, notice how I said historically speaking, we see who it's about. Now we also see when the so-called slaves first arrived in America. And according to BET, they arrived as of 8/20/1619. Now keep that year in mind. Now notice how when it comes to the 2017 eclipse that's going to take place on 8/21/2017, there's also going to be a partial lunar eclipse that takes place exactly 2 weeks or 14 days prior on 8/7/2017. And then of course 2 weeks later will be the actual solar eclipse that takes place in America to its entirety. Now that's interesting because there's something else. There is a total solar eclipse on 7/11/1619. And can you guess where that solar eclipse is? Yes, that solar eclipse occurred right here in Africa, as you can see, right around the same time that the transatlantic slave trade was booming and around the same exact time that slavery began in America, thereby commencing the 400-year prophecy. Is that a surprise or a coincidence whatsoever? What does this really mean? But as you can see right here, it says that the instant of greatest eclipse takes place on 7/11/1619 at about approximately 10:30 a.m. Now it's interesting because the eclipse in America starts around this exact same time in the morning. Note too how the same solar eclipse that occurred all throughout Africa, as you can see, in regions known today, of course, as Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, the Republic of the Congo, and then the Democratic Republic of the Congo right here, and it extended all the way down to Tanzania and Mozambique. Now, if you keep reading here, it says that 7/11/1619, the total solar eclipse, is an exceptionally long total eclipse with the duration at greatest eclipse of about 6 minutes and 41 seconds. And we know that the one in America is supposed to be about 7 minutes long too total. Now here's an enlarged map so you can see the parallels and so that you can see exactly what time it really is for America, or should I say Egypt, because exactly around this time is when the first so-called slaves were taken in ships and brought to the New World known as America specifically, or should I say Egypt, but it gets even deeper than this. Because when you look at the duration, so when you look at the start of the actual eclipse in Africa that occurred on 7/11/1619, all the way up until when slavery began in America at Jamestown back on 8/20/1619, you see that the period of this is about 40 days right here. And you can take a look at it. I'll be sure to leave it in the description box below. But that's not all, because it just so happens that if you look at the duration between this next upcoming eclipse on 8/21/2017 in America, if you go 40 days later and include the end date duration, you get a date at about 9/29/2017. That's interesting because that's around the same time as what? The Day of Atonement. And also note how you have here too the 40 days right here, 40 days, which represents in scripture, of course, trials and tribulation and testing indeed. Now, am I saying anything's going to happen within that period? Am I saying anything big, huge, or ginormous is going to happen? No, I am not. We need to be ready at all times for the coming of Yahusha. We need to be ready for judgment at all times because no one knows the day or hour but our Father Yahuwah. But what this is showing you is showing you the similarities and how the start and finish of what America, because we know that judgment is even at the door. And it's also interesting because here, according to Encyclopedia Virginia, the ship that arrived in 1619 to Jamestown, Virginia, just so happened to be called White Lion, where they were sold again likely into slavery. And notice how this website says likely into slavery. It also says the historians had long believed that these so-called Africans to have come to Virginia from the Caribbean, but Spanish records suggest that they had been captured in a Portuguese or Spanish-controlled area of where? West Central Africa, the same place where the eclipse occurred just 40 days sooner on 7/11/1619. And the reason I brought up the White Lion slave ship reference, because when you look at when slavery began in America in 1619, and I have the date right here as of 8/20/1619, you see exactly where the sun was in the Leo, the Lion constellation. And we know which tribe was sold into slavery specifically, Yahuda or Judah, the lion of the tribe of Yahuda, Judah. Is it all starting to make sense now? Just how like 398 years and a day later, we'll see on 8/21/2017, the same thing, the sun and the moon will be in the Leo Lion constellation over America, where much of the descendants of the lion of the tribe of Yahuda, Judah, are even to this day as we speak. And then just so that you also know and were aware, there was also known as the Ring of Fire solar eclipse that occurred back in the second month, so about a few months ago. It occurred on 2/26/2017 in South America and Africa. So in conclusion, we know that during the Great American Eclipse, there will be a slash literally made right over America, over Egyptian-influenced areas such as Cairo, Carbondale, also known as Little Egypt, the Mississippi River, and right above Memphis, Tennessee, places that we've heard of in Egypt. We also know that it marks an X with the 2024 total solar eclipse. And we also know how there's a lunar eclipse 2 weeks prior to this on 8/7/2017. And by the way, the Great American Eclipse marks 398 years and 1 day after slavery began in America, very reminiscent to the eclipses that we went over in 1619, with the lunar eclipse preceding the solar eclipse in Africa back in 7/11/1619, with slavery only beginning 40 days later. And just like this event here, 40 days after the Great American Eclipse, we land right at Day of Atonement, which scripturally speaking represents deliverance. So we see that this sign in the sky represents the end of America, and that's why Yahuwah gives us signs to warn us and to sound the alarm so we can see exactly what time it is, just like the 1619 eclipse in Africa represented the beginning of captivity and the beginning of America as a nation. Well, guess what? The Great American Eclipse, along with the 923 sign, represents the end of America, and we know that that Yahuwah Yahusha is the beginning and the end, and we know that it represents the coming judgment to come. Of course, we do not know when, we do not know the day or hour, but we know that we must remain ready and be ready at all times. We must always be vigilant, diligent, sober, because we know not the day or hour. We know that it could occur in 3 months from now, 3 weeks from now, 3 years from now, or 3 decades from now. But regardless, we need to remain ready and we need to remain protected and sealed in Yahuwah and Yahusha. Please seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha, and if you would like to learn more, please take a look at the description box below. But this is Truth Unveiled here, keeping you updated as always, and saying as always, Shalom.